At my wife's sister's wedding, I was stopped by a security guard and denied entry. "Your name is not on the list," he said coldly, blocking my way. I stood there in my tailored navy suit, holding the gift bag like a damn fool, while the bass from the music thumped through the ground. I looked over his shoulder and saw them, my wife, Courtney, and her mother, Beverly, standing near the entrance in their designer dresses, sipping champagne, laughing, pointing, watching me get humiliated like some unwanted intruder. I didn't make a scene. That's not my style. I just turned around and walked back to the car with my jaw clenched and the gift still in my hand. I didn't even realize my hand was shaking until I fumbled with the keys. I sat in the driver's seat for 15 minutes before I started the engine, staring at the venue like I was watching someone else's life collapse in slow motion. Courtney had told me the wedding was going to be tight on space, that it was mostly family, that she didn't want to make it awkward because of some things her sister had said about me. I didn't push. I trusted her. I was a damn idiot. That night, I didn't even bother waiting up. She came home around 2 a.m., heels in her hand, perfume cloud trailing behind her like a trail of deceit. I pretended to be asleep. She didn't even check, just showered, slipped into bed, and faced the other way. The next morning, she acted like everything was normal. Made coffee, kissed my cheek, asked if I'd take out the trash. Not a single word about the wedding. Not one. But here's where it gets twisted. The next day, they came to me in tears. Both of them, Courtney and Beverly, showed up at my office unannounced. Makeup smeared, voices shaky. They looked like a damn soap opera. "Ethan," Courtney whimpered, grabbing my hand like we were still some loving couple. "We need your help. It's urgent." My gut told me to slam the door in their faces. But I'm not wired that way. I let them in. It wasn't until the office door clicked shut behind us that I realized they weren't here to apologize. No, they were here because Courtney's new friend, the same one I'd started to suspect she was fooling around with, was missing. His name was Chase, a sleazy gym trainer type with fake charm and a jawline sculpted for Instagram. Apparently, Chase had disappeared after the wedding, and Courtney was so scared. She thought maybe he was in trouble. Or worse, caught up in something dangerous. She said it like he was family, like he mattered more than I did. That's when I felt it, the snap. Like something inside me cracked open. I wasn't even angry. I was ice. Frozen. Sharp. I looked Courtney straight in the eyes and said, "You're telling me you took him to the wedding instead of me. You humiliated me. Then he disappears, and now you come to me for help?" She didn't deny it. "Not really. It wasn't like that," she said quickly, voice trembling. "You don't understand. Chase just needed someone." "Oh, I understand." I cut her off. "I understand everything now." Beverly started sniffling louder, clearly trying to draw attention to herself. Classic narcissist play. I ignored her. I turned back to Courtney, who was now biting her lip like she used to when she lied about working late. "You left me off the list so you could bring your boy toy to your sister's wedding," I said. "You laughed while I was standing outside like some damn delivery driver. And now you want me to help you find him." That's when she snapped. "Don't act like you're some innocent victim," she hissed, stepping back. "You're boring, Ethan. You've always been boring. You never paid attention to me. You never understood what I needed." I almost laughed. Not because it was funny, but because I finally saw her. Not the woman I married. Not the one I thought I'd build a life with. Just a manipulative, self-centered, lying bitch who would torch the whole world if it meant she got to be the center of it. "You'll regret this," she whispered, tears now gone, replaced by venom. "No," I said calmly, opening the office door. "You will." And as she walked out, heels clicking like gunshots, I knew this was just the beginning. I wasn't just going to find out how deep the betrayal went. I was going to dig until I hit the core. The next morning, I woke up before the sun. I didn't sleep much, just lay there, staring at the ceiling, hearing every second tick by like a countdown to something ugly. Courtney was still asleep beside me, her breath slow, peaceful, as if she hadn't detonated a bomb in our marriage the night before. I couldn't look at her without seeing that smug laugh from across the wedding venue, like I was a joke to her. I got out of bed and opened her purse. I wasn't proud of it, but something told me I'd find more truth there than I ever would in her eyes. I did. Hidden beneath a pile of makeup and a charger cord was a folded piece of paper. It was a printed itinerary. Hotel name. Reservation for 2. Booked under her maiden name. The check-in date? The same day as her sister's wedding. I took a photo of it, folded it back exactly how it was, and slid it back in. She didn't suspect a thing. By lunch, I was parked across from that hotel. Downtown. 5 stars. A doorman in a red jacket. I watched couples come and go, families dragging luggage, bellhops moving like ants. And then I saw him. Chase. He walked out of the hotel alone, pulling a small suitcase. Dark glasses, hoodie pulled up, looking around like a man who didn't want to be seen. I started the engine. I didn't follow him right away. I just sat and stared at his back as he walked away from everything, including my wife. That's when I knew. He wasn't missing. He was bailing. I tailed him for 15 minutes. He stopped at a pharmacy, paid cash. Then a gas station. Then, nothing. He vanished into a parking garage. I waited. 10, 20, 30 minutes. Nothing. I drove through the structure, floor by floor. No sign of him. Either he had someone waiting, or he knew another exit. I came home to find Courtney cooking dinner. Like that made everything normal again. "Hey, babe," she said, flipping salmon. "You want wine?" I stared at her for a full 5 seconds before answering. "Where's Chase?" She froze. Just a blink, but I saw it. "Who?" "Wrong move. The guy you took to the wedding. The one who checked into the Grand Royale under your maiden name. The one you were crying about yesterday." She turned off the stove. Slowly. "You went through my stuff?" "I asked you a question." She leaned against the counter, arms crossed. The performance began. "You're acting crazy, Ethan. You're spiraling. Maybe you're jealous because my family never accepted you." I actually laughed. A sharp, bitter sound. "You know what's crazy? Watching your wife and her mother laugh while you're humiliated outside a wedding you paid part of." Her eyes narrowed. "You always loved playing the victim." There it was. The mask off. The real her, ugly and cold. "I'm done lying for you," I said. "I know everything." "Do you?" she said, smirking now. "Because if you really did, you wouldn't be standing here." I stepped closer. "I know about the hotel. I know you used me. And now, I know you're scared, because your little fling ghosted you the moment things got serious." She didn't flinch. "He didn't ghost me," she said quietly. "He ran because he thought you were dangerous." Maybe I am. We stared at each other. Two strangers in the kitchen where we once laughed and danced and made breakfast on Sundays. She blinked first. "He told me you threatened him," she said. "I didn't have to," I replied. "He saw what I'm capable of when someone pisses on what I built." She looked away. That's when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered without thinking. A voice. Male. Shaky. "Ethan, don't trust her. She's not who you think she is." "Who is this?" Don't let her know I called. Just check the safe." The line went dead. Courtney was watching me now, eyes narrow, cautious. Who was that? Wrong number. She didn't believe me. But I didn't care. I went to the safe that night, after she fell asleep. Inside, behind the documents and jewelry, was a flash drive. And what was on it changed everything. I didn't sleep. Not even a minute. I sat there in my home office, door locked, lights off, watching the files on that flash drive play out on my laptop screen like some twisted movie I never auditioned for. Videos. Screenshots. Messages. Courtney, half naked in hotel rooms, laughing into her phone, calling me boring. Calling me a walking paycheck. Saying she was trapped with a man who doesn't even know how badly he's being played. Then came the part that broke me. A video, clearly filmed by Chase, where she's sitting on the edge of a hotel bed, hair a mess, wearing my hoodie. She looks into the camera and says, "If Ethan ever finds out, he'll probably cry for a week, then beg me to stay. He's too weak to leave me. He needs me. He worships me." Then she laughs. That same cruel, wicked laugh I saw at the wedding. "And Chase," he says from behind the camera, "he'll find out eventually." She just shrugs. Let him. The more broken he is, the easier it'll be to take everything. I don't remember shutting the laptop, or punching the desk, or throwing the chair halfway across the room. But I remember the silence after. The kind that isn't really quiet. It screams in your ears. She was going to bleed me dry. Emotionally. Financially. Publicly. That wasn't love. It wasn't even hate. It was calculation. The next morning, I acted normal. That was the hard part. She was in the kitchen again, humming like always, pouring coffee like she wasn't planning to ruin me. "Morning," she said sweetly. I kissed her cheek. She smiled. "See? That's better. I hate when we fight." I nodded, grabbed my keys, and said I had a work meeting. I didn't go to work. I went to the lawyer. It took 3 hours to set the trap. I had the videos. I had her messages. I had screenshots from our shared accounts where she was siphoning money to some consulting fund with a fake company name that led straight to a debit card in Chase's name. The lawyers said, "You'll win this, no question. But it's going to get ugly." "I'm counting on it," I said. When I got home, she was on the phone, whispering in the hallway. She didn't notice me listening. "No, he's clueless," she was saying. "We'll move the money next week. Just act like you ghosted. He's soft. He'll collapse the moment I cry." She turned and froze when she saw me. I smiled. "Who was that?" I asked casually. She blinked. "Just Amber. Girl stuff." I stepped closer. "You sure it wasn't Chase? You know, the guy who left a flash drive in our safe." Her face turned white. I dropped the keys on the table and leaned in. "You should have picked someone smarter." She opened her mouth, but I raised my hand. "I'm not interested in hearing more lies, Courtney." "You went through my private things?" she shot back, her voice shaking with that fake righteous anger. "You tried to rob me. Emotionally, financially, hell, maybe even legally. Don't talk to me about privacy." That's when she snapped again. Tears. Crocodile ones. "You never loved me right. You never made me feel special. Chase made me feel seen." I laughed. "Couldn't help it. Courtney, Chase saw your ass. That's about it." She screamed. Actually screamed, like a tantrum-throwing teenager who just got told no. I walked past her, picked up my overnight bag, and headed toward the door. She followed, shouting, "You're not going anywhere." I opened the door. Wrong again. She grabbed my arm. "You'll regret this." I looked her dead in the eyes. "No, I regret marrying you." She let go, and I walked out. But this wasn't over. Not yet. She had no idea what was coming next. I stayed at a hotel that night. Nothing fancy, just clean sheets and a lock she couldn't open. I lay there staring at the ceiling again. Only this time, I wasn't numb. I was wired. Every nerve in my body was alert. I wasn't done. Not by a long shot. She thought she'd ruined me. She had no idea she'd just started a war. The next morning, I called a private investigator. Guy named Travis, recommended by the lawyer. Ex-cop. Quiet. Wore sunglasses indoors. No small talk. My kind of guy. I gave him everything. Names, timelines, accounts, even the flash drive. He nodded once, didn't ask stupid questions, and said, "Give me a week." It took him 4 days. Turns out Chase wasn't just a gym rat with a pretty face. He was on probation. Identity theft. Credit card scams. Multiple women, same routine. He'd charm them, get them to open accounts, start businesses, then disappear. Except this time, he hadn't disappeared. He was hiding. Someone was protecting him. You can guess who. Courtney had rented a second apartment under a fake name. Travis found the lease. Photos from the security cameras showed Chase entering and leaving at odd hours. She hadn't just cheated. She had built a second life. And she thought I was boring. I didn't confront her right away. I waited. I watched. Every day, she texted me sweet little lies. "I miss you. Let's talk. Can we fix this?" I played along. "Maybe," I replied. "I just need time." Meanwhile, I moved the rest of my money. Froze the shared accounts. Transferred the car title to my company. Changed the locks at my office. Every asset with my name on it got locked down tighter than Fort Knox. And then, I called her mother. Beverly. That woman had always treated me like I was beneath them. Like I was lucky to breathe the same air. She'd smirked at the wedding while I was turned away like a damn stray dog. So I figured, why not let her in on a little secret? "Hi, Beverly," I said calmly. "Just wanted to let you know, your daughter's going to be served divorce papers next week." There was silence. Then the venom kicked in. "Excuse me." She cheated on me. Lied. Stole. Hit a fugitive. But I'm sure you already knew that. Oh, and one more thing, I said. "You laugh while I stood outside your other daughter's wedding. But I'll be laughing when the judge takes her for every cent." I hung up. Courtney called 30 seconds later. I didn't answer. Instead, I drove to the second apartment. I waited across the street, engine off, watching from behind tinted glass. And right on cue, the door opened. Courtney stepped out in tight jeans and sunglasses, phone in hand, purse swinging. Chase followed. Looked over his shoulder like a nervous dog. She kissed him, right there on the steps. That was it. I snapped the photo. Sent it to my lawyer with one word: proceed. That night, she showed up at my hotel. Banged on the door. Loud enough to wake the dead. "Ethan," she screamed. "I know you're in there." I opened the door slowly, letting her see I wasn't shaken. That smile she used to weaponize didn't even touch me anymore. Cute apartment, I said. She froze. You've been following me? I hired someone better than Chase. Her face changed. For a split second, I saw fear. I can explain. No, I said. You can pack. Because your time's up. She pushed past me into the room, pacing like a cornered animal. You can't do this to me. I gave you my best years. You gave me lies. She pointed her finger in my face, shaking. You're not perfect either. You shut down. You didn't make me feel loved. I stepped closer, inches from her. You know what's funny? I used to blame myself for that. I thought I failed you. Thought I was boring. Thought I wasn't enough. I leaned in. But the truth is, you were broken long before I ever met you. You just needed someone stable enough to feed on. Her hand swung. Slap. Across my cheek. I didn't flinch. I smiled. And then I handed her the envelope. Inside were the divorce papers. She opened it, scanned the first page, and her hands started shaking. You're going to regret this, she hissed. I'll take everything. I walked to the door, opened it wide, and said calmly, try me. And I watched her walk out of my life with fire in her eyes and nothing in her hands. But the fire? It was mine now. I didn't hear from her for 3 days. Silence. No calls. No texts. Not even one of those manipulative guilt trap voice notes she used to send when she wanted to reel me back in. And just when I started thinking maybe, just maybe, she was finally done, she showed up at my office. She was dressed in white, like some twisted joke, like a bride who missed her own damn wedding. She didn't wait to be invited in, just stormed past my assistant and into my office like she still had a place in my life. My assistant stood frozen, unsure what to do. I waved her off. Courtney shut the door and turned to face me. Her makeup was perfect, not a tear in sight. This wasn't the pleading, trembling act anymore. This was a calculated performance. I knew that version of her well. Cold, polished, empty inside. You're making a mistake, she said, arms crossed, eyes locked on mine. I already made the mistake, I said without blinking. I married you. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. You really think you're going to come out on top here? I don't need to come out on top. I just need to get out. She stepped closer, her voice dropping to that seductive tone she used when she wanted to distract me from the truth. Ethan, we can fix this. You and me. We had something real. Don't let this Chase thing ruin everything. This Chase thing, I repeated slowly, is a felony. And what we had wasn't real. It was a show. A scam. And I was the idiot buying tickets. She tilted her head. You still love me. I almost laughed again. You're confusing love with muscle memory. Something in her cracked for a second. I saw it. The twitch in her jaw, the flicker in her eyes. She didn't expect me to stand this firm. She thought she still had power. I'm not signing anything, she snapped. You'll have to take me to court. I already did, I said. You were served. Yesterday. Her face fell. Also, I added, I sent those videos to your sister. And to Beverly. In case you're wondering why they're not returning your calls. She stared at me like I'd slapped her. You bastard, she whispered. No, Courtney. I was a husband. You turned me into this. She lunged forward and tried to grab the flash drive from my desk. I was faster, snatched it away and held it up. You're not in control anymore. Her breathing was heavy, furious, desperate. You're going to ruin me. No, I said calmly. You did that yourself. I'm just finally holding up the mirror. She stormed out, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the walls. My assistant peeked in, eyes wide. You okay? I nodded. Better than I've been in years. That night, I got a call from Travis. We found Chase. He was in a motel 2 hours outside the city, registered under a fake name. Cops were on their way. Apparently, someone had tipped them off that he was linked to a series of online scams. That someone was me. He'd be spending the next few years in prison. And Courtney? Well, she tried to play the victim card. Said she was manipulated. Said she had no idea what Chase was doing. But the bank records didn't lie. The messages didn't lie. The lease under her fake name didn't lie. The judge saw right through her. In the end, she walked away with almost nothing. No spousal support. No share in the house. Just her clothes, her lies, and a reputation that followed her like a shadow. I didn't celebrate. There was no victory dance. Just relief. Cold, quiet, full-body relief. Because when you spend years loving someone who was only ever pretending, the win isn't revenge, it's freedom. But there was one last thing. A letter. One I never sent. I wrote it the night she left the hotel screaming, back when my hands still shook with everything I wanted to say, but couldn't. It said, Courtney, if you're reading this, it means you're still trying to understand how you lost. The truth is, you lost the moment you decided to treat love like leverage. I gave you everything, and you gave me a performance. I hope one day you understand the difference. I never mailed it. I burned it, because she didn't deserve the closure. Weeks passed. The dust settled. Life didn't exactly go back to normal, because nothing about me was normal anymore. I wasn't the man I was before Courtney, and maybe that was a good thing. I moved into a loft downtown. Smaller, quieter. No reminders of her perfume clinging to the curtains. No arguments echoing in the walls. Just silence. Pure, unfiltered peace. The kind you don't realize you've been missing until you finally breathe it in. I started sleeping better. Eating better. Hell, I started reading again. Little things. Things that used to feel like nothing but had been eaten alive by her chaos. I wasn't trying to rebuild my life. I was trying to remember who I was before I lost myself in hers. Then, one night, my phone lit up. Unknown number. I let it ring. Then it rang again. And again. I finally picked up. Ethan, a voice whispered. Courtney. I didn't say a word. She breathed into the phone for a few seconds like she was scared I'd hang up. Or maybe hoping I would. They're charging me, she said. Accessory to fraud. I didn't know. You did. I didn't mean for it to go that far. Chase, he was using me. You were using me. I replied flat. I'm scared. I waited. She kept going. I don't know who I am without all of this. That's not my problem anymore. I miss you, she choked out. You were the only real thing I had. That part hit. Not because I believed her, but because a part of me used to want that to be true. I said nothing. Ethan, please. Can you just talk to the DA? Tell them I was manipulated. I'll go away if you do. I swear. You'll never hear from me again. I almost pitied her. Almost. But then I remembered that wedding. Her laugh. The way she kissed Chase like I was dead. The way she played me like a damn lottery ticket she thought she'd already won. No, I said. Click. That was the last time I ever heard her voice. Later, I found out she took a plea deal. 6 months probation. Mandatory therapy. Community service. That was it. The system let her walk. Figures. But I didn't care anymore. The court didn't need to punish her. Life would. People like her always end up alone. Not because they're unloved, but because they're unlovable. There's a difference. Funny thing is, I ran into Beverly at a coffee shop a few months later. She looked older. Like life had finally caught up with her. She saw me, and for a second, I thought she was going to turn around and pretend she hadn't. Instead, she walked up to me. Ethan, she said soft. I didn't know. I didn't realize. You did, I said. She sighed. She always said you were too quiet. I see now that was your strength. I nodded, sipped my coffee, and said, tell her I hope she finds peace. Just not with me. And I walked out. No bitterness. No drama. Just peace. Real peace. And the truth? I don't hate her anymore. That takes too much energy. I don't think about what she's doing or who she's with. I don't care. Because when you finally walk away from a storm like Courtney, you stop asking why the rain fell. You just feel grateful for the sun. Some nights, I still catch myself replaying it all in my head. Not out of pain, not even regret, just curiosity. Like watching the slow-motion footage of a crash you walked away from. Wondering if there was a second where it could have been avoided. A different choice. A better word. A missed sign. But that's the thing about people like her. There is no different choice. No better version. Courtney didn't become who she was overnight. She was always that woman. I just love the mask she wore. It's strange. The quiet after someone like that is deafening at first. You don't realize how much space their chaos takes up until it's gone. It's like learning how to breathe again. Like finally realizing that the weight on your chest wasn't the world. It was her. A couple of months after the divorce was finalized, I got a letter. Not an email. Not a text. An actual handwritten letter. The handwriting was unmistakable. Slanted. Loopy. Courtney's. I should have thrown it away. But I didn't. It wasn't long. I was wrong. You didn't deserve what I did. You were good. Kind. Too kind. I thought hurting you would give me control. But all I did was destroy the only honest thing I ever had. I hope you find someone who sees you the way I couldn't. Please forget me. I already hate who I see when I look in the mirror. No signature. No return address. I read it once. Then I burned it. Not out of anger, but because keeping it would have meant holding on to a piece of her. And I was done collecting shards. There were days when I still ran into people we used to know. Mutual friends. Acquaintances. Every single one of them said the same thing. You look different. I did. I felt different. Lighter. Sharper. Not just older, but wiser in a way that only pain can teach you. I went on a few dates after everything. Some were awkward. Some were decent. None of them were her. And that's the best part. I no longer looked for replacements. I wasn't trying to fill a Courtney-shaped hole. I was rebuilding from scratch. Then came Jenna. She wasn't flashy. She didn't light up the room with some fake glow. She wasn't dripping with charisma or selling herself with every sentence. She was real. I met her at a friend's dinner party. We ended up outside, both avoiding the noise. She told me about her job, an art therapist for kids. I told her about my divorce, bluntly, without the sugarcoating. And she didn't flinch. She just nodded and said, "I'm glad you made it through." Not, "I'm sorry." Not, "She didn't deserve you." Just, "I'm glad you made it through." That stuck with me. We started talking more, then meeting up, then laughing. And one day, I realized something wild. I wasn't bracing for a lie. I wasn't walking on glass. I wasn't surviving. I was living. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like a man who'd been broken. I felt like a man who had been forged. Because betrayal doesn't just ruin you, it reveals you. You find out who you really are in the silence after the storm. And I found out. I'm stronger than I thought. Colder than I ever expected. But smarter, too. I'll never be the man who trusts blindly again. But I'm not the man who hates, either. I'm just me. Finally. And if you ask me what I'd say to anyone who's living what I lived, here it is. Don't run. Don't scream. Don't beg them to love you back. Just open your eyes, pack your soul, and walk out with your head high. Because the person who betrayed you already lost. And you? You've only just begun. It's a strange thing, healing. It doesn't come with fanfare or grand revelations. There's no finish line, no applause, no moment where you wake up and think, "I'm cured." It just happens. Quietly. Slowly. One morning you realize you haven't thought about them in weeks. You walk past a place that used to sting, and all you feel is nothing. You look in the mirror and see yourself. Not the version they twisted, not the one who begged or doubted, but the real you. That's the end. Not when they leave. Not when the divorce papers are signed. The real end is when you stop carrying them inside you. And that's where I am now. Courtney became a story. A cautionary tale. A ghost I don't speak to, don't chase, don't hate. Just a shadow that taught me how bright I could shine when it was finally gone. I don't need revenge. I don't need closure. I don't need her to understand what she did or apologize again. Because I'm free. Free from the lies. Free from the gaslighting. Free from the weight of trying to fix someone who never wanted to be whole. And if she ever wonders what became of me, if she scrolls past my name or hears it in conversation, I hope she knows. I'm good. Not okay. Not surviving. Not coping. I'm good. Better without her. And finally, me again.